Hello friends, we'll be discussing the concept of determinants of demand. As we have already discussed the concept of demand, we'll understand what are the determinants that lead to the increase and decrease in the concept of demand here. Let's understand certain points related to it. Demand for a good by a consumer can vary in response to several factors such as its own price, prices of other related goods, income of the consumer, taste and preference of the consumer, etc. So basically, demand for any product can depend on the price of the product, the price of the substitutes, income of that specific consumer, and the specifications or willingness related to that specific product, whether he has to buy it or not. All these things affect the concept of demand here. The next thing, following are the leading determinants of demand. The first would be price of commodity. This is one of the major important concept which affects majority of the demand here. The first determinant of the demand for a good is its own price. What is the price of that good is the specific demand, or rather that affects the demand of that product. The consumer compares the marginal utility expected from a good with its price and decides whether it is worth buying or not. The consumer goes ahead and compares the marginal utility, that is, what is the satisfaction level that it can give or what different change it can bring into its own lifestyle, and then decides whether it is really necessary to buy this product or not. A fall in the price induces the consumer to buy more of the goods, and an increase in the prices cause a fall in demand. Basically, if the price of the onion goes down, people will purchase a lot of onions. But at the similar time, if the price of the onion goes down or rather goes up, in that scenario, people will reduce the consumption of onion at all. That means where earlier you used to buy 10 kilos of onions, now that the price has increased, you might just go down to 5 kilos or 2 kilos, depending on the purchasing capacity of you as an individual. Now, prices of related commodities is the second determinant. First, we understood price of the commodity. Second is the price of substitute commodities. Prices of related commodities also affect the demand of the commodity, say X. We can call it as X. There are two ways in which a good can be related to another good. First one, substitute goods. That means the first thing that will be related to the original product will be the substitute product. If the price of the substitute good Y increases, the demand for that good falls and the consumer wants to buy more of X. So we have taken X as a good, Y as a different good. If the price of this increases, the demand for this will increase. The reason being, this price is always low, or rather this price is stagnant as compared to this price. In contrast, if the price of the substitute falls, the consumer increases demand for that good and hence he wants to buy less of X. Now, if price of this Y product goes down, then the demand for this product will increase, and substantially this product demand will remain stagnant or it will go down absolutely, because this substitute good has increased a lot, or rather the prices has gone down. For example, if iPhone starts giving its products at 10,000 or 11,000, what do you think? iPhone phones will be sold out or not? Absolutely, they will be sold out at a majority unit. That means the production will go high, however the sale price will be very less, and hence the consumption of those phones will be very much in the market, and you will see in a fraction of a time you will find out that the market is filled with iPhone's phone itself. That's the product, or Apple products itself. Complement goods. The second one will be the complement goods here. If the price of a complement good Y increases, the demand for that good falls, so does the demand of its complement. For example, if you're using an iPad, and if the cost of the iPencil, that means the pencil itself which is related to the iPad, goes up, you don't think so you'll be buying iPad, because to function that iPad, or rather this complement good is required for functioning of that original good itself. So if iPencil, or rather the pencil, is required to function that iPad, do you think the cost of increase, or rather the increase in the cost of that pencil, will lead to more of iPads being sold out? Absolutely not. But if this specific pencil cost is going down, or rather it is coming free of cost, people will still afford buying an iPad here. That's the complementary good substitute, or rather that's the concept of complementary good here. In the same way, a fall in the piece of rather complementary goods causes an increase in the demand for X. It has negative cross effect price. That's what we have discussed right now. The next will be level of income. So we have understood price as one determinant, price of related goods considering subjective or rather substitute goods and complementary goods. The next is level of income. The demand for a good is also affected by the level of income of the consumer. With an increase in the income of the consumer wants to buy more goods. However, it is the good is considered inferior one, he has to expect a reduce in the demand with his income increases. So level of income, that means whatever you earn also determines whether you can absolutely buy it or not. If you have earnings worth rupees 5 to 6 lakh a month, you can absolutely select a nice car. You won't go for Maruti, you won't go for Hyundai, you would go for a better brand. That might be a Merc, that might be a BMW, because you have the purchasing power at that point of time. Hence, that is known as one of the determinant of demand here. Expected change in price. If the price of a good is expected to increase, demand for that good also increases and vice versa. A consumer wants to buy a good product before its price goes up and will postpone its purchase if the price is expected to fall. Now, increase or decrease in the price. For example, if your cars are going up, or rather if you're willing to buy a car and if in the next month the cost of that car is supposed to go up, you will end up buying the car in this month itself. You will arrange for the cash because you love that car, and you will end up buying that car in this month itself. Similarly, if that price is supposed to go down next month, you will postpone your purchase to the next month. You won't buy it in this month because you are expecting that price to go down. This mostly happens in shares. Share market is one of the important concept, or rather share market is one of the important example which can show you the same criteria here. If the share value is going down next month, or rather if you figure out that the share value is going to go down, you will sell off these shares right now because you want to earn maximum profit here. Similarly, if the share value is supposed to go down and you want to buy that shares, you will postpone your purchase for the next month. That's how share market works here. Now, there are other factors as well. Other factors which affect the aggregate market demand for the goods include the size of population, the marketing and sale campaigns by suppliers, the selling expenses basically incurred by the sellers, the taste and preference of the buyers, and distribution of income and wealth. For example, richer section are likely to spend a smaller proportion of their income on basic necessities and larger proportion on luxurious and durable consumer goods. What do you think? Ambani is using Little Soap or Lifebuoy? No, it won't. He'll be using something which is more popular, which is very unique for his purpose. Why? Because he is belonging, or rather he belongs to a richer section of the society. But for an ordinary man, Lifebuoy is fine with him. He just wants to have a shower with that. He wouldn't go and opt for a shower gel, especially in a situation whereby buying a Lifebuoy or buying a Dettol soap itself is very hard for him. That's the situation. For Ambani, that will be very fine. He'll buy a lot of he'll buy a company of all these Dettol soaps, or rather he can call it, he can buy a company of shower gel itself. He can produce his own. That's the richer section and that's the poorer section difference that we have here. So when we are trying to compare the determinants, these are the other factors, basically the taste and the preference. Once you are in the elite league of earning a lot of income, you will definitely raise your lifestyle there. Not considerably, but yes, as per the purchasing power, you will raise from the middle class to upper middle class. So hence, one, or rather when we compare the middle class section, we have a poor section, we have a rich section, and we have a middle class section. But middle class has two types of it: upper middle class and lower middle class. That's a myth basically, but upper middle class is having a lot of purchasing power, hence upper middle class. Lower middle class are living hand to mouth, hence they are known as lower middle class. So that's the difference between them. So this is the basic thing where we have understood the determinants of demand: the prices, the need, the desire, the other factors related to it, substitute goods, etc. all are the determinants of demand here. So this is what you need to understand. This is all that we have to talk about when it comes to determinants of demand. Thank you.